Hey guys, it's Chase here on Gemmy Master Animatronics, and today what I have for you is the Gemmy 6-foot tall 2012 animated cat on pumpkin. This is an inflatable that I got off of eBay. Not recently, I actually got this one a few months ago, but I stepped outside today, the weather was beautiful, and I was like, I just got to do a review today, because it's one of those few days where the wind is not being a pain. It's not really cloudy out, it's just perfect. So I got this item off of eBay, and I believe I paid roughly at the max $50, and that's with shipping. This is not an item that I was necessarily looking for, but it is one that I did have before, not when I was a kid or anything. I had this one for like the 2022 display, and I did not hate it. I did end up selling it because the one that I initially had, I'll be the first to admit, was not in the best shape. It wasn't worn out or anything. It actually inflated super good, but the pumpkin and the cat were very faded. So the one I have in front of you is even, like, it's a lot better than it was, than my initial one. And I would actually go as far as saying that this one might even be brand new. I'm not 100% sure. All I know is that the seller that posted it, they said, that they threw out the box, they would store this kind of stuff in bins, which means that if it was brand new, they would have taken it directly out of the box and put it in a bin. And whether they used it or not is out of my knowledge, but when I got this thing, I mean, when I say the fabric was in perfect shape, and it still is, I mean that it is like the perfect example of what this thing is supposed to look like, because it is in very nice shape. There are no thin spots, it's as crunchy as it possibly could be for the 2012 fabric. It's not faded, it looks great. So I'm overall very happy with this purchase. It's, like I said, it's not one that I was necessarily looking for, but when you see an inflatable like this, especially like an old animated one on eBay for a really good price, and you kind of like it, maybe not, if you're leaning towards like you kind of like it, then I would say go ahead and get it, because, even if it's not necessarily one you're looking for, you may want it in the future, and, it really sucks to have passed on something that you just end up regretting in the future, like, I really wish I got this. So, either way, if I did end up liking it, it was like $50 with shipping, like I said, so it probably was like $30, plus like 20 shipping, but I was either going to, really like this in person after seeing it in good shape, or not really like it, and it was just gonna like sit in my closet, and I'd maybe sell it in the future, I don't know. And I was really surprised when I got this, and I did really like it, because usually when I get items like this and they're in terrible shape, it just ruins the item for me. So I was half expecting to get this one, and just, even though like it would have been in good shape, it just, having memories of how bad the old one was, but I still ended up really liking this one. So I will show you the box. Obviously this is not the original box. Like I said, the seller said they just, put their stuff in a bin, which really sucks, because I love to have the original boxes for these kind of things. And so I did this, of course I photoshopped all this box art together, so I'm very happy with how that turned out. It says on the box I put 2011. That was just kind of like, I just had the copyright, text and everything on hand. I didn't really have one for 2012, but I don't think that that's, terribly incorrect, because I do think that this one was also made in 2011. I could be wrong, but with how, not really common, but with how, I mean, I wouldn't really say easy to find. It's not the hardest inflatable to find, which would lead me to believe it was made at least 2 different years. However, this item was a wholesale item, which just basically means this was sold everywhere. I mean, like garden centers, online, I think even on Walmart's website at one point. I mean, this thing was just sold everywhere. So it definitely is not too hard of an inflatable to find nowadays. So if you wanted one, you could, totally find it without too much difficulty. But I will go ahead and get it inflated for you guys. As you guys will see, I mean, the sun's not, really out right now. It's, it's setting. So I don't know how well you'll be able to see the colors. I can see them very well in person, but I don't know how well they're picking up on camera. I won't know until I hook it up to my computer and see, because the screen on this camera just doesn't really, show me much. But you guys will see how tightly this thing inflates, because it really does inflate super good. A lot better than my old one somehow, even though my old one did not have any thin spots. Gotta lift up the fan so it actually is able to get air in. And like I said, I would not be surprised if this one is brand new, because there were no dirt marks or anything on it when I got it, and I never used it. So there should still not be any marks on it, but if I see any throughout the video, then that'll kind of tell me if it was brand new or not. When I first inflated this, like, it really did seem like it was brand new, and I need to adjust the lights in this, so guys, just give me 1 second. Okay guys, so here it is. As you can see, it inflates fully. The animation works great, so we will go ahead and do a walk around of it, just kind of showing where the tethers are, all the different colors, you know, the body of the cat, because you can't really see it with how it is right now. It's kind of having a leaning issue, which might just be how the fan is attached to this thing. I don't know. When I first inflated it, it was like, you know, in my room, so it was kind of scrunched, so I didn't really like get to see it without things touching it, so I guess that's probably why it seemed to be fine when it was in my room, but I don't know. I'll have to adjust the fan or something. But here it is. You guys can just, I mean, well, not really see, but I'll show you. Like, this thing inflates super, super good. Like really tightly. I mean, when I say, like, sometimes when I say, like, you can't push in on these things, like, I'm kind of, like, being a little bit, you know, dramatic. Like, obviously you can. I mean, with this, like, you really cannot, like, you cannot really push in on this. Like, the fan that it has does a very good job of keeping it inflated. And like I said, it's having some sort of leaning issue, because you can kind of see the cat's a little bit down. But if you were to hold it up like this, then the face kind of sinks down. So what I'm thinking is that the cat is supposed to be sewn a little bit more up here, and that they didn't do it with this one. So there's not really much I can do about that, but complain about it. But I'm not too worried. I mean, you can still see it, you know, fairly well. As you guys can see, the cat is very black. I'm sorry if you guys see, like, things flying around. We're getting into summer right now, which is, you know, where the bugs like to hang out. You guys can see the colors in the cat are very nice. The cat itself, I don't know if you can see, it lights up very well. I mean, the majority of the lights in this thing are on the cat, which kind of doesn't really make any sense. I mean, the pumpkin itself has like 2 different lights in it, and then the cat has 4. So, I mean, I'm not complaining about illumination. I love it when inflatables light up well, but this is one of those few ones that, like, I think has too many lights. I mean, it really does have, like, a ridiculous amount of lights in it. So it's got two tether points, one on this side and then one on the other. I think that it was the right decision putting it on the pumpkin and not on the cat, just because you're going to have, you know, more airflow to the pumpkin. So if it's blowing around, you're going to want the pumpkin stable over the cat. The mech that Gemmy gave this is actually a gear-driven head-turning mech, and I don't mean the motor that's driving this, because the motor is a reindeer motor, which obviously already has a gearbox in it. But there's a gear on the motor shaft that goes to a big, just circular piece, which is what spins this. And I've never been a really big fan of that mech, because it tends to be faulty for whatever reason. But I do like it because it gives you the option to have a light in the head and to obviously replace it, because with the regular Gemmy mechs, there's just a really big, not really big, like it's like a squirrel cage type system where you could not fit a light in or anything. It has like small inserts and holes in the plastic so airflow can go through, but not nearly enough space to even stick like your finger in. Like, you can't have a light in, you can't, like, if there was a light in it, you couldn't like replace it or anything. But I do have a friend that actually has this one, and he told me that when he tried to replace the light in this, he actually had to remove the head because the hole on this is not big enough. So it kind of defeats the purpose of the mechanism that he gave it. But I mean, maybe his just has a defect. I'm not 100% sure. And then we have a very nice, you know, witch hat on the cat. I've always liked it, and there actually is some scuffs on there, but I think that's just some bleeding from the black, which is another indication that this would have been brand new. And because these eyes are screen printed as opposed to just like fabric, this looks terrible at night. Like the eyes don't light up, so it just kind of looks like just a blank face going back and forth. It's kind of weird. And I love how the claws actually inflate, because if this was done nowadays, first of all, this would never be done nowadays, but if it was, it would have felt on it as opposed to like actual fabric. So I love how the claws inflate. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. I'll get a backup, view of it so you guys can kind of see it. That's pretty much it. Really hope you guys enjoyed. Again, if you want to find this one, you just check eBay. Every so often I see one pop up. It's typically like 1 or 2 a year, so it's not too hard to find. But this one is kind of a coveted inflatable, so if you are looking for one, you might want to act fast, because I do know that this one tends to be kind of a popular one, and not even just to collectors, just to anybody, because it is a very nice design. Just, you're getting animation, you're getting the two, most Halloween-y characters, a pumpkin with a face on it, and then a black cat. And the pumpkin face, I really like that. I mean, it kind of looks, happy, but I still love how it was done. I mean, an angry face just, I mean, some things look better with happy faces, some things look better with angry faces. It kind of depends on what it is, but I like that it's a mix of happy and angry. Because the cat's angry. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Really hope you guys enjoyed. There's not too much else to say about this. If you guys want another fan, it's just got one of those, tall fans that the 2012 ones have. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So I will see you guys again next time.